Did Josh Gattis receive too much credit for running Jim Harbaugh's offense?
There's speculation for sure. I don't know. I mean, I think that nobody knows except for Josh Gattis and Jim Harbaugh, in my opinion. So I definitely think that's out there, though, that Gattis is now, he's at Miami talking about, I brought championships to these teams, and Jim Harbaugh is sitting back there thinking, how much did you put in there? So I definitely think that there was definitely some headbutting between Josh Gattis and Jim Harbaugh over calling plays. I know that for a fact, and not even just calling plays, but personnel, maybe even at the quarterback position. So I definitely I wondered how Josh Gattis moving out and these guys moving in, how that helps a power struggle, because we all know Jim Harbaugh loves to have as much control and power as possible.
I find it so ironic when you think about, Jim Harbaugh's offense, right? Just a couple years ago, actually the last few years leading up to the whole speed and space change and approach, a lot of people wanted Harbaugh to recluse himself from play calling and wanted him to kind of update his offense. And all of a sudden it's like, jokes that control last year, that was the key. I'm getting back to the Harbaugh roots, and that's what people wanted him to get away from in the first place. I just find the whole dynamic kind of interesting when you kind of think about it. To be quite honest, I don't think anybody would say that the offense was fun to watch last year. I mean, I think they were effective.
Jim Harbaugh would disagree, actually.
I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would.
Vehemently.
You don't think the offense was fun to watch, Dre? I might even argue with that a little bit.
Yeah. 3 yards, like GOJ says, 3 yards and cloud of dust. Yeah, that's extremely exciting.
Winning is fun. Winning
This
is fun.
Top of 5 offense in the country, right? Let me look. Let me check the stats. You keep going, Dre. I'm checking the numbers on this.
No. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't want Harbaugh to have too much power and stay in the office, because I do believe, especially if JJ is the guy and he's taking over this fall, I do want to make sure that we're fully utilizing his abilities, both running and passing. And I just believe that the whole 3 yards and a cloud of dust, we're only going to be using 50%, 6% of this kid's ability. Because let's be honest, he eventually will take over. Whether it's this fall or next fall, he will. And I just, that's my fear. That's my fear.
I think he did get too much credit for running Jim Harbaugh's offense. I just, when you look at because I think he was here a total 3 years. So you look at the 2 years prior, it wasn't good. I mean, in whether you want to put everything on Joe Milton or not, I mean, clearly he didn't perform, but he's still a Division I quarterback. Like, he's not a guy who does not have talent. I think everyone can agree with that, even if you weren't a fan of him. And to not put him in positions to succeed, that's on coaching. That's play calling. That is your job. I mean, I look at it. The most excited, my excitement level with Josh Gattis was probably the highest when he was hired. Outside of that, that was the highest, because, and Dre, we were obviously talk about it all the time, but I'm like, man, you got a good one. Like, Gattis is good. He's really good. Coming from Alabama, the co-OC with Loxley, I thought you had a speed and space play caller, and that never seemed to develop. And it was just odd. It was just consistently playing the waiting game of, when are we going to see the bubble screens? When are we going to see the quick slants? When are we going to see the – what'd you say?
Oh, you did. It just didn't work. You saw the bubble screens out to Donovan's Peoples Jones. It just didn't work.
It cracks me up when we're talking about the success of Josh Gattis, and he's the speed and space guy. The most successful that Michigan was under Josh Gattis was when they ran the ball and didn't throw it ever. You had Cade McNamara throwing 13 times a game. So that shows it's pretty obvious to me whose offense. Maybe Josh Gattis was calling the plays, but Jim Harbaugh gave him a list of plays to call, before the game. So I definitely think that going forward though, I don't think I think they're going to continue to run the ball 100%. And I actually don't. I kind of disagree in the fact that that's taking away from JJ's ability. I think we're all on the same boat that like JJ probably will start at some point. But I think that, you've got Matt Weiss, who has been, everyone's like, everyone's the new young QB guru, right? And he's this next guy that they're touting as that. I think that he's going to be able to work with JJ. And if Michigan can run a pro-style offense where you do establish the run first, but you still have JJ's legs and arm to be able to create things, then all of a sudden that's a pretty damn good offense. I don't like the idea of having JJ be Lamar Jackson and just run for his life like he did in the Georgia game. I want him to be able to, drop back, throw the deep ball on a 5-step drop or whatever it is, and not have to, Johnny Manziel it every single time. So I still think it's going to be a good thing, especially when you look at the running back talent. It's going to be a good thing that they still run the ball first. And I want Jim Harbaugh to wear my "Run the Damn Ball" shirt more too.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's sweet watching the Johnny Manziel dance around the pocket, run to the left, run to the right, throwing 60-yard bombs on the field. Those are sweet to watch. I understand you can't live like that. You get yourself exposed for big hits and turnovers. I don't understand. And this is about winning at the end of the day. It's just, it'll be interesting to see how the Gattis departure will look if Tyler Van Dyke is a Heisman Trophy candidate this fall and Miami is just lightening up. Now, granted, different conference. I think a much weaker conference in the ACC, but I think Tyler Van Dyke is a talented quarterback down in Miami. And so I'll put it this way, with the level of competition that he has to go against and the quarterback that he has to work with, there's a chance that Gattis can prove us right or prove us wrong very, very quickly.